doing some mean mugging. Whoosh. Anyone ever watch New Guy? Is it called The New Guy? My girlfriend had it on the other day, and I was like, oh, what's this movie? And yeah, that's something that I used to do. You'd be like, oh, you want me to give you the look? Whoosh. Anyways, we're back. Episode 3 of the gaming talk show that doesn't have a name. It's nameless, and I'm still trying to figure that out, but you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. Hey, Mortal Kombat, you still suck. I got a message from my buddy saying that I should specifically call out Mortal Kombat for another thing. And apparently the DLCs, they cost $6,000 in total to unlock everything that's unlockable in Mortal Kombat. $6,000. It's a lot of money. That's like a $70, $80, $90 game. And they want you to pay $6,000. It's pretty crazy even thinking about that. I'm not entirely sure if that is the total itself, but when I get told by a pretty reliable source that that is the case, then that's disgusting. But I mean, it doesn't really surprise me when you think about it on how many DLCs they constantly, like games constantly make you pay for. Like what is the deal with that? Honestly, that's something I didn't really get into at all. The DLCs, they ruin games. You know, they have the expansions, and like, oh, it's cool to have an expansion because the expansion is almost like an entirely new game. But the DLC is kind of like this little chunk that could have been in the game, and it makes the game just a little bit better, and it costs more money than what you paid for. It's not like I'm not supporting the game by buying the entire thing already, right? So why screw me and come out with 2 DLCs every 4 months when you can be releasing that content and be updating it, like I said, more frequently? That's the reason why games are dying, 100%. To go on the same rant I was before, if Destiny was coming out with new content every month to every month and a half, which isn't that hard. You know, they're a big company. They had Activision and Bungie both working for them. Why can't they come out with something like a new strike and new weapons and new armor sets and new, stuff and new raids more frequently? Frequently. Why can't they do that? I don't understand. Like, it's like you want people to play, right? That's how you get people to play. It's the dumbest thing in the world. Like, oh no, we're just going to pray that people come and they play the game because they enjoy it. It doesn't matter if they play the same thing over and over and over again. How dumb is that? Like, let's be real. Like, no, nobody wants to do that. It's not fun grinding the same strike over and over again for no reason. Like, I want a reason to do stuff. That's the whole reason why people play games in the first place. And going back to what I said before, when you have hardcore players, they put in hardcore amounts of time to get the stuff that you tell them is good or that you say it's good. I remember, this is a true story, I remember in Destiny 1, there was a gun that came out, and it was called the Sleeper Simulant. And I remember there was rumors of the gun coming out, and there was all this stuff, there's backstory to it, and we were like, we know it exists, but we don't know how to get it. And the way that Bungie had described the way to get the gun was that you had to figure it out. That there was some crazy puzzle or conspiracy on how to get the gun. And I remember we spent weeks trying to figure this out, trying to decrypt stuff. We were looking into everything. We were edging into the maps and like edging into pieces of the game that we weren't supposed to be in. And then one day, literally a mission popped up in Destiny, just one mission, and it was the start of the Sleeper Simulant quest, and that's how you got it. There was no code that you had to enter until during the quest. There was no secret way of doing it. It was just something you magically put into the game that was there the entire time. How dumb is that? Like, that's the dumbest thing I ever heard. Make it exciting. Do stuff. Put secrets in there that they haven't, discovered. I was just watching the other day about in Final Fantasy VII, they found out that there was a piece of the black materia. Now, I don't know how many Final Fantasy VII fans are out there or watching it, but it was one of the most popular Final Fantasy games because of the era. It really saved Square Enix, okay? It was so good and the graphics were so crazy at the time of the release that it blew people's minds. And even though the story and the characters and the game itself isn't the best Final Fantasy that they've ever popped out, the fact of the timing that it dropped, which timing is everything. When it comes to comedy, when it comes to life, when it comes to anything, timing is the most important part of that. And Final Fantasy dropped at the perfect time. I digress. People have been playing. Final Fantasy VII came out in 1999, I believe, or 1998. Maybe even a little bit later than that. We'll say 1999 just for the sake of saying a year. At this point, it's sometime in that area. So the game has had 19 to 20 years of people playing it ins and outs, and I've played it like 40 times maybe myself. I've played it a lot of times. I've done and gone to do secrets. I've done things that I haven't done before, but I've never experienced something that happened, and there was a brand new discovery not that long ago, and that there was a piece of the Black Materia and the Icicle Inn in the town. Somebody glitched behind where the shopkeeper is, and they walked up the stairs, and there was a piece of the Black Materia just floating there. It was crazy. I was like, what? Like that was definitely something that they meant to put into the game or have it there or to some aspect, or maybe it was hiding there the whole time. But they don't just throw stuff like that in there. That's a little secret that nobody found. And they found that 20 years later. That's the stuff that you guys need to put in to make everybody stay around. Okay? You need to put secrets in that blow people's minds. That's what they want. That's what the people want. They want that stuff. Speaking of DLCs going even further, Final Fantasy VII, I don't know what's going on with the remake. They canceled the whole project. I want it to be turn-based. I don't want it to be that, hack and slash style stuff. The graphics look awesome, but the people have been begging for a remake for 20 years, and how could you possibly go and make a hack and slash version of Final Fantasy VII? On top of that, to not make it turn-based the way that the original, which is the whole reason why you should be doing the remake in the first place, is to get those old fans back. Final Fantasy VII has the most sales of any other Final Fantasy game, so it's going to sell no matter what you do. So why don't you make it the way that it was intended to be sold originally, what made it successful? Don't change that dynamic. Change other things like the graphics, add more stuff to it, but don't change what was good about the game. Are you crazy? What kind of... That's crazy. Anyways, there's more to that. They also want to release Final Fantasy VII. Holy smokes. We are not doing well right now. They wanted to release Final Fantasy VII in episodes. They wanted it to be episodic. That is bonkers. Oh, that is the most money-grabbing thing I've ever heard in my life. I don't care if you release the game for $120. Just give me the whole damn thing. Because I'm going to be playing it from beginning to end very, very quickly. And I will be playing it nonstop as much as possible. My daughter can stop listening to Baby Shark, and she can start learning some of the hums and hymns from Final Fantasy VII. Okay, that's the way that's going for the time being. I get into yelling and I get kind of intense sometimes because that stuff, it gets on my damn nerves. And that was the whole point of the Mean Mug. If you release that in episodic little pieces, that is going to upset me so much. Lastly and quickly, I'm just going to run over something. So something that always gets discussed, I just said something like 5 times. And why do I always point out my errors? I should just let them happen, right? I don't know. That's just what people do, is they always see the horrible stuff in themselves, and they're always good at giving advice to other people. Anyways, RNG versus hard-earned G's is what I was calling it. So it's basically like, do people like that everything in a game is RNG based, like obtaining characters, obtaining weapons, obtaining armor, obtaining special gears, I guess essentially, special skins, special abilities? Do people like that? Or do people also want it to be hard-earned, where you're going out and you're putting in that 12 hours to try to get the gun that you want? When you get it, it's real good and you want to use it all the time because it's that good, it's that overpowered. Sometimes people make good points on both sides. RNG is nice because sometimes you can get something off the first rip or the first couple rips and you got it and it's, that was worth it. But some people can play that forever and still not get that. I remember I got into a talk with someone at Dokkan headquarters, which is Bandai. I talked to them and I was trying to get this character called Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta. And he was the guy, he's Super Gogeta from the new movie. And I tried so hard. My friends were helping me get him. They helping me with PayPal to get this guy. I could not pull him for the life of me. If anybody knows me that well, they know that I have really, really bad RNG in the heavy games that I like to play. except in Monopoly, right, Nate? Anyways, I have bad RNG when it comes to these games. And I was pulling so hard. So I ended up spending way more than a person should be spending on a game, first of all, and also spending way more than a person should have to. And I messaged Bandai and I said, excuse me, like there's 6 characters that are, like there's 6 banner characters, okay? And there's like, let's say 45 characters on the banner. So 39 of those characters are off banner, and those 6 that are should be able to be pulled a lot easier when I'm doing multiple multis, right? Like multiple multi summons. So there's no way that I should go doing 80, 90 multi summons and not pulling a card if there's only 6 featured units. Like that's robbery at that point. That is, you're literally robbing people. And I'm not rich. I can't afford that stuff. And it's not fair for somebody to be able to do that. But to be able to have that character unlocked by earning it is also a little bit hard, because it would break the game being able to earn the character that easily. So there's 2 sides that you really have to look at. There has to be some sort of middle ground, and you can't make it so the hard work doesn't pay off for what you're doing, but you also have to make it where that good luck and the spending of the money is coming into it also. It's a tough call, and I understand that I'm not the one developing these games, and I'm not the one that has to support an entire company, so I do understand the aspect to try to get as much money out of people, but you can't rob them. They've banned it in other countries because it is legitimate version of gambling at that point. And really, gambling has more of a payout, because Gogeta Blue isn't worth $400, $500 for paying him. I'm not getting $400 or $500 back. I'm getting a character that I can use. So why make it that bad for people? Anyways, rant over. Love you guys very much. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the video. Comment if you have anything that you can say or tell me, some advice that I could go for. You know, I definitely have to work on my English a little bit, I guess. Anyways, thanks everyone, and have a good one.